The chaos started long before the plate crashed. Everyone in the restaurant had felt it, the pressure in the air, the silent fear in the staff's eyes, and the sharp, cold presence of the millionaire's daughter walking in like she owned more than just the room. She walked with the confidence of someone who believed the world bent around her steps, and at that moment, everyone in the restaurant prayed she wouldn't stop at their table. The whispers traveled quickly, warning the new servers, reminding the experienced ones, and echoing through the kitchen like a prophecy, nobody can handle her. Nobody. But nobody expected that today, something, or rather, someone, would change everything. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread before the story continues. Your support helps us spread more heart-touching stories like this. The evening began like any other busy weekend, with the clinking of glasses and the comforting hum of soft jazz playing under the voices of families, couples, and friends. But all of that shifted the moment Isabel Hart stepped inside. She was the daughter of one of the city's wealthiest businessmen, known for her beauty, her confidence, and her deeply troubled temper. She didn't need to raise her voice to command attention. The tilt of her chin and the icy glare in her eyes were enough to silence rooms. Isabel had grown up surrounded by luxury, private schools, designer clothing, expensive vacations, but somewhere along the way, she had built walls taller than the skyscrapers her father owned. Walls of anger. Walls of hurt. Walls nobody dared climb. The staff tried avoiding her table. They remembered the last server who had accidentally placed her dish a little askew. Isabel had humiliated him so badly that he left his job the next day. Tonight, unfortunately, she wasn't alone. Seated across from her was a man who looked more tired than wealthy, clearly drowning in the pressure of entertaining her. He spoke softly, carefully, as if every word he chose might land on a mine. Despite the calm music playing behind them, their table held a storm waiting to break. Minutes later, all it took was one small mistake. The server had placed the wrong sauce next to Isabel's plate. A small error, almost laughably insignificant, but to her, it was a spark thrown into a room full of gasoline. The tension snapped. Her voice rose sharply, echoing through the restaurant. Everyone froze. Eyes turned toward her table, hearts raced, breaths tightened. She stood from her seat, leaning forward, jaw clenched, eyes burning with a mixture of anger and something deeper, something almost like pain. The young server stuttered, terrified. Plates rattled. Customers stared. And that was the moment Maya Rivera stepped in. Maya was a waitress most customers remembered long after visiting. Not because she tried to be noticed, but because she carried something rare, warmth. A simple, genuine kind of warmth, the kind that softened hard days and made people feel safe. She was used to dealing with difficult customers, but Isabel wasn't just difficult, she was a hurricane wrapped in designer clothing. Still, Maya walked toward her with steady steps and a calm expression, even as the rest of the staff watched her like someone approaching a wild, cornered animal. When Maya reached the table, she placed a gentle hand on the back of the trembling server and quietly guided him away. Isabel turned her fury toward Maya, expecting fear, but what she found was a face filled with understanding, and something else she couldn't read. That unfamiliar gaze threw her off balance, forcing her to sit down as if gravity had doubled. Maya didn't apologize in a rushed, frightened manner. She didn't lower her eyes or shrink. Instead, she simply offered a plate, the correct sauce, and a quiet reassurance that felt disarmingly sincere. The room slowly returned to its rhythm, but something had shifted. Isabel watched Maya with narrowed eyes, unsettled. Maya didn't treat her like a ticking bomb, she treated her like a human being. And that was the first strike against the walls Isabel had spent years building. After delivering her corrected meal, Maya returned once more, not with fear, not with pretense, but with an observation Isabel didn't expect. She noticed the untouched food, the restless fingers, the stiffness in her shoulders. Most people assumed Isabel's anger came from entitlement. Maya saw something else, loneliness. Deep, unresolved wounds she carried like invisible armor. Throughout the night, Maya approached the table calmly whenever needed. She didn't hover, didn't avoid, didn't flinch. Instead, she offered small gestures of kindness, a fresh napkin before Isabel even asked, a warm refill of water, a simple nod to let her know she was seen, not feared. Slowly, Isabel's expression softened. Her harsh breathing evened out. The fire behind her anger dimmed. Maya didn't lecture her or try to fix her. She simply gave her something Isabel wasn't used to, gentleness without judgment. As the meal went on, the men sitting with Isabel watched in awe. He had come expecting another disaster, another display of the chaos that seemed to follow her everywhere. But suddenly, Isabel wasn't shouting. She wasn't breaking plates or tearing into people. She was simply quiet. Still. Almost peaceful. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. Toward the end of the evening, a small incident happened that changed everything. A young girl from a nearby table accidentally dropped her fork near Isabel. Before anyone could panic or expect the worst, Isabel bent down, picked it up, and handed it to her with a gentle smile. The mother gasped softly. Maya noticed. The restaurant noticed. Isabel noticed too, not the act itself, but the sudden feeling it gave her. A warmth she hadn't felt in years. As the night came to a close, Isabel stood up and approached Maya. She looked uncertain, like someone trying to speak a language they hadn't used in years. She apologized, softly, quietly, sincerely. It was clumsy, but real. Maya simply nodded, offering her a smile filled with the same kindness that had changed the entire evening. And that was when Isabel's voice cracked. The weight of years of loneliness, pressure, expectations, and emotional wounds seemed to collapse all at once. Right there in the middle of a busy restaurant, the millionaire's daughter cried, not loudly, not dramatically, but like someone finally letting go of a burden too heavy to carry. Maya didn't hug her or make a scene. She simply stood beside her, allowing her the dignity of being human. Sometimes, kindness doesn't come in grand heroic gestures. Sometimes, it's just one person choosing calm over chaos, compassion over judgment. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to Kindness Thread for more emotional stories that remind us of the goodness still left in this world. Before we end, here's a small request: comment below what part of the story moved you the most.
Pero bueno, nada. Es hoy por hoy lo que nos toca confrontar. Está ahí es por algo. Yo no le voy a tirar hate. Lo que veo es que a mí personalmente no me gusta. Y nada, lo único que voy a decir es que está ahí es por algo. Voy a decir eso. Así que nada. Ojalá le vaya bien. Ojalá le vaya bien, boludo. Porque qué más a mí me gustaría que volviera a ser campeón, que volviera a ser bicampeón. Sería increíble.